What's up everybody, Rob Arnold here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the video. Today I've got one of a new concept for you, at least new for me here on the channel, where I'm going to take you as a fly on the wall to a 2006 pre-production writing rehearsal session before Chimaira, my band, was set to record our Resurrection album. And this is some footage that I just kind of came across while I was searching for some other footage of something I was going to publish this week that will still happen, but I came across this footage and was just checking it out and thought, I wonder if people would be interested in seeing this. And then rewind a couple weeks, I did a video where I was checking out Chimaira's Crown of Phantoms album and doing commentary on that, and there was an overwhelming response in the comments asking me to do more commentary stuff, you know, other Chimaira albums, things like that. While I'm still kind of warming up to that idea, it dawned on me, you know what? Perhaps it'd be interesting for me to just give my perspective on what was going on in this pre-production session here. It's kind of short, sweet, to the point. You get to see some cool stuff, some gear, some stuff that we're talking about and finalizing. So let's kind of do it. I'll set the stage here. Again, we're preparing to I'm preparing to record our 2007 Resurrection album, and this is in late 2006. Andals is about to hit Annie Up Studios with Andy Sneap to record the drums, and then after that, the rest of us, Mark, Jim, Chris, Matt, and myself, are going to head down to Sanford, Florida to Audio Hammer Studios with Jason Sukoff and Mark Lewis to do the vocals, the guitars, the bass, the keys, stuff like that, and finish it off. And then later on, Andy Sneap would then mix it in his hometown somewhere in England. And all of that is well documented by the legendary Todd Bell in our DVD, The Resurrection, that accompanied the special edition of the Resurrection CD, and which you can find online, which I'll link here somewhere for you guys. So yeah, hoping you can dig this. Let's get right into it, and I'll take you through these short few minutes here and just spontaneously tell you what I think of the process. Practice space here. Many of you guys have seen this many times. We're gonna get started here working on a tune, Pleasure and Pain. Look at that. Let's jump right in and say, look at the boss Andals is. The guy would practice in ankle weights all the time, just so when it came showtime or whatever, he could just take them off and fly through, and I guess his double bass would feel light as air. Oops, where are you going there, Jim? No, Jim always had a nice connection with Andals. I like that. I don't know if you could hear that rhythm there, but they had a nice feel together. It's Mark behind the camera, just so you guys know. And sorry for the overloaded drum sound here. Every time he's close to the cymbals and stuff, it's just some you know, old Sony handheld DV camera from probably like the late 90s or whatever. No HD, nothing like that. But yeah, so anytime you get close to drums or guitars or anything, the microphone just gets totally blown out. That's as real as it gets, huh? Up to that kick drum right there. I realized after checking this out a couple times as I was putting this together here, that Mark's filming this and he started taking footage and putting together a little webisode series. Maybe they're called Chimaira webisodes. Anyways, I'll link them below as well. But Mark did a nice job, and I think his first time like putting together stuff like this and editing and just some really cool stuff of his own little documentary to kind of preview the album as we were making it. And getting ready to make it, which is exactly what we're doing right here. What we're doing is running over the songs, just kind of the finishing touches. We've been jamming these songs for months now, and you know, we're just finalizing fills, talking about everything, making sure everybody's on the same page, everybody's happy with every part, everything sounds tight in the way it should, so that Arnold knows exactly what he should be doing, which I'm assuming, you know, maybe within a week here, he's going to start tracking his drums. Hey there, pal.
I'm like this.
So apparently, I didn't catch that before. So apparently when Mark walked in, Matt was dancing and he wants him to redo it, to go back in and refilm it. So he's not dancing. Matt's awesome.
He's walking in.
I don't know if it's demolitis or what, but I don't like that fill in that second verse. You know,
Yeah.
From the one that you said was impossible, it just doesn't
It
flow.
was impossible. It's sloppy. And I thought it was like a pretty fucking tight variation. Oh, that ride thing? I love that.
Yeah, he got rid of the right thing and now has that clench thing, which throws everybody off every time. It's not, you can tell nobody's smooth on it, you know. So I mean, with the practice over and over again, but like,
Even if it's tight and you didn't like it, I never like hit it tight. I was here like an hour like trying to figure out like, the variation. It sounds tight on the record.
So, try to think outside the box a little bit. Came with that film. That was pretty badass.
I just don't think clenches are right there. It needs to.
It's the beauty of writing together. You feel the parts. A lot of the times, especially nowadays when things are written on a computer, they sound good there. And then when musicians actually go to play them, like preparing for a show, sometimes it's just unnatural feeling, you know? So that's why I always stress just how nice it is to be able to jam and talk about these parts. And like you heard me say there, it's throwing everybody off. It's not smooth. And Matt's interjecting saying, well, is it because it's not tight? Because it takes a while to get something tight. Somebody has some idea, you're trying to put it together. All the guys need to play it tight for you to be able to make the decision on whether the idea is going to be a good one or not, or how it's going to feel and all that. So hence practice, hence rehearsal. That's why you keep going through stuff and everybody's constantly fine tuning to get it so that you can just make the decision if that's going to be the right part or not.
Flowing with the drive of the song and everything.
The other
like
one
that.
definitely had that flow about
It was like,
See there, I'm using the Engel Powerball there. There was a little period where I switched from the 6505 to try the Engel. Matt was using an Engel Savage, but that didn't last very long either. Good amps, all that, but ended up going back to the 6505s.
now this is whatever like that. I'm just not feeling it as much. You're sitting there looking at me like, well, I wanted to say and everything like that. So I come up with a million things too that just don't end up working, and no one's defending you right now. You know, so.
I'm being hard on Andals. Andals, I'm sorry here. I'll touch on this a little bit later too. I feel like I'm a dick in this video, so sorry guys.
The party is that they may not be right.
Can you do
You're really
something?
saying it's because it's on camera right now.
Well, ever since Todd got here,
I try not to even pay attention to
Can you
that.
do something based off of it? 'Cause I like that shit. Like maybe not, you know, the last part of the snare was like da da.
Yeah.
Maybe just get rid of that and make it flow like the beginning of the fill. Does that make sense or no?
So throughout the process too, there's multiple variations of parts. Oh, we liked that fill. Oh, Jim liked the way it felt 3 days ago when we did it like this. Let's try that again. Oh, okay, we've had some time to think about it. So Matt's just kind of replaying, you know, verbally some ideas that maybe we can try as we're trying to figure out. We're stuck on this right now because I don't like it. I don't want to move on until we figure out what's going to feel right. Mark's dreads on the wall there, hanging in a bag. Maybe we'll see that again. When he cut them off, we saved them and put them in a Ziploc bag.
Appliance or something. What if you did that same thing but didn't clench them? Like you like whip the cymbals, you know, and like something like that, you know? Big accents maybe in those spots, or maybe it's the spots themselves that I'm not liking or something, I'm not sure.
Back when I was smoking cigarettes for a while.
Let's try to work something out, you know? That's what he would do. That's what he would do. Like, Edgar would be like, yeah, I was thinking a little something more like this.
Nothing against smoking. It's just that I felt unhealthy, and seeing myself doing that makes me feel unhealthy.
Engineer would just sit there and be like, okay. And maybe like, want to move on with it, like, if you're going to do something or whatever, you'd have to go home and think about it or something. How about this?
Nice and straightforward.
I like that one.
I always had a totally random thought, but I was thinking maybe how about something like.
Keep in mind right there, he just said I had this random thought and tried that fill. I'm going to comment on that in a second. Perfect. So we're going to keep working on that for a little bit, make sure it's right. It ends up being the fill that made the album. So what's funny about that is Andel's like, yeah, I just had this random thought. How about this one? And he just does it. It's perfect and badass. Another big reason why Andel's is badass. And that's the one. Sick.
It's gonna work. I just think it wasn't tight. That's all.
What did you do before? The one on the CD. That was like.
So it's basically the same idea, snares in the same place instead of.
I like that.
Just that one accent when we all come in.
The original or my second fill or whatever that you didn't like, that's the rhythm you just said. Okay. And then the second one has the same rhythm as the original fill you liked, just without the two rides.
Wait.
So, which one? The other one?
What are you talking about right there?
The first one, you know, you're like,
No. Play the one you just played.
If we liked it.
Do it every other time. You know, or we can do it every time.
So that's something we used to do a lot. You know, if you wanted to A/B or compare two different fills or two different riffs or whatever, we would loop it and do it every other one. Okay, so idea A is going to be on 1 and 3, and idea B is going to be on 2 and 4. And then everybody would get on the page with that and start working through it, and then we could decide, you know, early days of A-Bing before being able to do it on the computer and just listen. Oh, I like that one better. Oh, I'll move it over here and see what that sounds like. Oh, the ease of that is beautiful for sure, but back in the day, this is how we had to do it. Cloudy CLE. Okay, there's my old pedal board there. So the signal coming in from the top right there, I would hit a Boss TU3. I'd skip that next white pedal you see there, which is a Boss DD3 delay. But I go from the tuner into that. That's a Zach Wild wah into a Digitech whammy there, and then out through the ISP decimator. And then I would run that DD3 delay through my effects loop. And this is the first iteration kind of of my pedal board. And the second one, I got a bigger pedal board and added a second whammy. And I kept them in fixed positions. One was using instead of this one you see at the top there, it says octave, at the bottom it says harmony. And I'd have to switch that for different parts in the song for what I'd need. And what I ended up doing was fixing one for where I wanted it and fixing the other one for where I wanted it. And I'd only use 2 different settings. The octave setting I'd use in songs like Salvation and Nothing Remains. That Middle Eastern sounding part, I like that octave sound a lot there. That's how I get that effect. Then the harmony one, I believe, was a 5th, and I'd use that for certain solos. The only one that comes to mind right now, Cleansation, that little part. And then after this, all these pedal changes became too cumbersome, having to, you know, switch this to switch this to switch this, and then this off and off, and channel change and everything like that. Where I read this article with Dave Mustaine where he talked about this new thing at the time called the Digitech GSP 1101, which is a rack processing unit, and you can assign all your changes just to certain foot pedals, you know. So everything that I needed to have happen, let's say there was 4 changes with my pedals, I could just assign to one button, hit one button, and that happens, and that became really nice, you know. And I know on the market today there are tons of cool stuff like that. All the line 6 stuff, everybody's raving about that Helix stuff. So I've yet to check that stuff out. Haven't really had like the need because I'm not gigging and trying to improve my setup all the time anymore, you know. But eventually, if I did, I think I would try out that one. You know, a lot of guys are doing the same type of stuff with the Axe effects and all that. But yeah, anyways, there's the original pedal board. Now we're gonna get into No Reason to Live here, which is the only other song in this video that we're going to cover.
Why don't we start pressing that change now that you were talking about? Adding the 4 back in to the beginning.
What's that now?
That's one of Arnold's favorite snares there. That's his old steel snare that I believe came from a Thomas Star Classic kit back in the day. But he's always liked that, and I still have that at the studio. The kit he's playing is actually the Pearl Prestige Session Select that we bought for Ricky in like 2004. A nice big 6-piece kit that I also still have right now. So Ricky played that. Kevin ended up playing it. He may have recorded the self-tud with it. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him that. You know, Arnold's playing it. Austin ended up playing it. So super famous kit. if Mark had his lyrics written to this yet. We'll talk about Mark in a second. Like, my guess is there's no way we were calling this No Reason to Live at this time. It would have been like song 6, or sometimes we have themes for records. Some of you have heard in the self-titled record, they were all wrestlers' names. Like one of them was Hulk Hogan, another one was the Iron Sheik and stuff. I think for Infection, we were calling them South Park characters, like Ned and Miss Chokes on Dick, stuff like that, or whatever. I can't remember what the case was here. Another reason I chose to do this video is because obviously we're just coming off of Everything You Love. I think that's 17 with my Andals interview, and when I saw this footage, I came across it. There's just a lot about Andals and everything, so it just seemed like the right kind of timing to do this. Let me know what you guys think, if you appreciated this or not, or if I should stay away from this kind of stuff. If you want more of it, because I got lots more footage in the archives. So right there, I don't know if you can see at the top of his kick drum there, he's got that little red thing there. I know it's a bad pause that I got here. Pausing isn't ever really clear, but that's what a trigger is. And if you checked out my interview with Andals, we talked about triggers and how a lot of people will call them cheaters, but he says no, they're lie detectors. So what's happening here in this situation is those triggers are running through a like some sort of Alesis DM5 or DM Pro or something like that gives like a clickier sound, and that's running through the PA system so he can just hear his kicks, so we can hear his kicks. Those bass drums like that without any sort of audio enhancement like that would just get totally lost in the mix in that room with huge full stacks going on, and Jim and Mark and Chris aren't even performing right now, so Andals would never be able to hear his kicks. We wouldn't be able to hear it. It's just nicer. So really, especially in this situation, the only reason that we have triggers going right now is for audible reasons, just so we can simply hear them. This is the solo spot here. Now I'm not playing a solo, and because I probably hadn't written it yet. And if you watch the Resurrection documentary, you can see that I kind of not ideally waited a little too long and ended up writing a lot of my solos in the hotel room just at night, every night before going back into the studio to record the next day. So I didn't have this solo written. I know some of them I did. I remember I had The Flame written before that, before going in, but most of them I'd say were written actually down in Florida shortly before recording, which again isn't ideal. The longer you can live with it, the longer you can practice it, the better you're going to record it, the more you can work out little kinks or have better ideas. It's just always better to be prepared no matter what, I think. So sick there, Andals' whole drum part. At least nobody can say Jim doesn't spend time with his fans.
I do like the demo. I don't know if it's demo.
That's fine.
What'd you say?
Jim does first riff. Jim would just keep saying, let's not change that, let's not change it. So
I hate myself in this video. This is what I was commenting on earlier. I could just tell something's wrong with me. I don't know what it is. I'm like pissed or just having a bad day or whatever, but I'd like to think I'm a lot more all smiles than this. And again, let me apologize to the guys if this is how I always was. What an insufferable bore I must have been. But yes, I must be pissed off about something. Part of me wants to hope, oh, I was just that focused, but I don't look focused here. I look like I haven't slept in a couple days and I just don't know what's going on with me. Again, sorry, Matt. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Arnold.
We figure we go back to it.
Yeah, I agree with
You
that.
guys like it or you don't like it?
And then I just forgot that part because
I wasn't paying attention to what you guys
Used
just
to it
played.
now. No, we changed it to this, and you're instantly gonna have Tamoedas.
You played that for me. I'm just saying, if you played it today, I didn't notice it.
No, we didn't.
So I said I was going to comment on Mark before. So a lot of the time, especially this late in the process, Mark would just kind of hang out and he'd be just digesting everything. And I don't know what stage of his lyric writing he would have been in, and I'm sure every album had different stages as well of his preparedness. But he would always be thinking about the arrangements and what we could do to improve the arrangements for his vocals. And he would wait to do that, obviously, till things were more solidified song-wise. Like, he wouldn't start talking about arrangement changes when we just come up with a riff. It had to be, we've got the song here, he's ready to start doing his thing for it. We're finalizing arrangement stuff, and he may say, you know what, guys, I've been thinking about this one every night, and I want you to do 2 choruses, or I want the drums to drop into halftime for the second half of this chorus, or you know what, that verse is just a little too long. And those type of changes, and having your singer involved in the arrangements like that, I think is really beneficial to your songwriting, because again, well, everybody being happy, everybody being able to put the 2 cents in, and since vocals make or break everything, it's nice to be able to have a singer that knows what's going on with the songwriting too. Because rewind now, early on in the process, Mark's rig is over there, which maybe we'll see, and I'll pause if we see that over there. He's using I saw a PV Triple X, but he's got a guitar on too, and he's throwing riffs and talking about stuff here and there. But I think now he's probably, like I said, just in kind of vocal mode and mentally, and so here we're just kind of discussing some last minute things, like what this is all about. There it is. There's his rig right behind Matt there. That half stack, that Triple X there, and I believe that's a Yamaha cab. Beautiful MFA 2. Those guitars are hard, right, Matt?
Yeah.
You guys remember it?
Yeah. It would help if you guys headbanged, though.
So I said to Mark, sing it in your head to this change we're going to make or whatever, see if you kind of like it. And he says, it'll help if you headbang. I wish that whiteboard came in clear. We could see what it says. I really don't know. Maybe it's just going over the arrangement for one of these songs, or maybe it's a list of songs or a punch list. I'm not quite sure, unfortunately.
You want to split the new way, whatever you want to call it?
like this.
So that's it for that was all that was there for what had been filmed on that tape. That's all I got. Would have been interesting to see, what the conclusion was, if or just to see more, and perhaps there's more in those webisodes that would pick up there. Again, I recommend, if you haven't seen it, I know a lot of you have, but I recommend checking out the Resurrection documentary. It's really well done and takes us through the entire recording process. See Sneap there at Andy Up with Andel's tracking. You see the stuff down in Florida where we're doing the rest of the tracking. So just cool stuff. Again, let me know whether you guys dug this or not, because I do have more stuff like this. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you to everybody that subscribed so far. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up for me. And what that does is it just lets YouTube know that they should suggest it to other people who may like it as well. Finally, a couple plugs. You want those Chimaira classic tones and you have a Kemper Profiler amp, you can check out my custom Chimaira profile pack at tonecrate.com. Get all those classic Chimaira tones, elite tones, all that, but you need the Kemper Profiler amp for it. If you're a guitar player, check out my instructional DVD packed with riffs, tips, tricks, solos, songwriting, everything like that. Only got a few of them left, sending them out autographed worldwide if you're interested. If you can support the channel like so many of you have so far in a greater way, which is amazing for me, check out my Patreon campaign at patreon.com/RobArnoldWorld. And I'm also available for custom shoutouts on Cameo. If you feel like having me say happy birthday, happy anniversary, hello to someone you love, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much again, guys. I'll be back soon with another. Cheers and thanks for watching. Oh, I almost forgot. Where was Chris Bacuza during all of this? Well, by this point, he had already moved down to Tampa, Florida, and was working on his samples for the record with a special guest, his good friend, Morgoth the Impaler, which a lot of you know about if you've seen that Resurrection DVD, and if you haven't, I recommend you check that out.